Yes, go.
Rabbit earns $1 a minute.
One morning, Fox decided to plant a patch of grapes. He got to work, and soon he had raked and hoed out a patch of land where he could plant his grapes. It wouldn't be long before the vines were tall and the grapes grew ripe.
Rabbit watched Fox as he planted the grapes, and he told his children and Mrs. Rabbit where they could find the patch. The day the grapes were ripe, Rabbit and his children would sneak into the patch and take handfuls of grapes. They took so many that when Fox came to the patch, he could hardly find any.
Fox was very angry. He had worked hard on the grapes, and they ended up being eaten by someone else. He suspected that silly rabbit had something to do with it, but the rabbit that had been so sneaky that Fox couldn't catch him. So he came up with a plan. He found a spot in his fence where a rabbit could sneak in and set a trap there. He tied a rope to a nearby hickory sapling and made it bend almost in half. Then he used the other end of the rope to make a loop knot and fastened it to the trigger right around the hole in the fence. If anyone tried to go through the hole to steal his grapes, the knot would be tightened around their body. The sapling would spring up, and they would be hanging upside down from the tree.
The next morning, Rabbit came sneaking through the gap in the fence. Right away, the trigger went off, and the knot tightened around his torso, and the tree snapped up. Rabbit found himself swinging from the hickory sapling with nowhere to go.
Rabbit was in trouble. He was trying to come up with an excuse for Fox when he heard someone coming down the road. It was Mr. Bear. He was looking for a bee tree to get some honey from it. Rabbit suddenly came up with a plan to get himself free.
"Hello, Mr. Bear," he called. Mr. Bear then started looking around, wondering where the voice came from. Then he looked up and saw a rabbit hanging from the tree. "Hello, Rabbit," he said. "How are you this morning?" "Fine, Mr. Bear," said Rabbit sarcastically. "Just fine." Mr. Bear was curious on why Rabbit was in the tree. Rabbit just smiled and said that he was earning $1 a minute from Fox.
$1 a minute, Mr. Bear exclaimed. For what? I'm keeping the birds away from the grapes, lied Rabbit. Then he added that Fox was paying whoever would act as a scarecrow for him $1 a minute.
Mr. Bear thought that sounded really good. He had a large family, he could use the money. Rabbit asked him if he wanted the job, and Mr. Bear couldn't help but agree. Rabbit showed him how to bend the hickory sapling over and remove him from the trap. When Rabbit was free, Mr. Bear climbed in. Soon he was swinging from this hickory sapling and growling at anything that came near it.
Rabbit laughed at the sight of Mr. Bear in the tree. He ran down the road and told Fox that the grape thief was trapped. Fox grabbed his old oak cane and followed Rabbit. When he saw Mr. Bear, he accused him of being a grape thief. Fox shouted at him and threatened to smack Mr. Bear with his cane. He yelled so loud that Mr. Bear didn't have any time to explain the misunderstanding.
Rabbit knew that Mr. Bear would be furious at him, so he ran down and hid in the dirt along the pond. Only Rabbit's eyes could be seen, and he resembled a large bullfrog. Soon, Mr. Bear came stomping angrily down the road, mad to be tricked by a stupid rabbit. "Hello, Mr. Bullfrog," greeted Mr. Bear. "Have you seen Rabbit?"
He just ran down the road, Rabbit told him in a deep, croaky voice that sounded like a bullfrog's. Mr. Bear thanked him and continued to stomp down the road.
When Mr. Bear was out of sight, Rabbit climbed out of the mud and washed himself off in the water. Then he went home, laughing to himself about how he had escaped both Fox and Bear, and thinking of new ways to get into Fox's patch and get some of those delicious grapes.